Yo, what is going on, guys? Got a video for you here today. We are going to be going over 3 of the biggest reasons why young men are single. And this is a video by this woman right here, guys. So let's jump into it. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we are talking about the 3 biggest reasons why young men are staying single. A lot of this that I'm going to tell you today, you might already realize, but I think that the 3rd one is something that I have not heard anyone else really talk about. And you guys might not agree with me. I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I am just really seeing that there has been changes like over the last 5 years to cause me to think that number 3 is happening. And it is absolutely contributing as a major factor as to why a lot of men are staying single. We are seeing way more men in their 20s, more than any other generation, remain single, and oftentimes by choice. A lot of you guys that are listening, you might not be in your 20s, but this absolutely impacts every age group in the dating pool. Because
Let's just pause it here for a second, guys. I covered a video from this woman not too long ago, I don't think, and I'm not familiar with this woman. I've seen her on like a few TikToks and things that we've covered. Apparently she's a single mother. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong there. Apparently she's also divorced. I don't particularly know. If someone can confirm down in the comments. But I do find it funny whenever women make these videos, guys, because like, let's not get it confused here. It's not like these women actually give a damn. It's not like they actually care. Usually they make these videos because they're looking to, you know, get dudes in there. It's like chameleon type behavior, guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, they make the videos because they know that they'll be able to gather an audience of men who think, oh, well, she's different, she finally cares about us, and so on. But the truth of the matter is a lot of these women don't actually give a damn. They don't understand the struggles that men have been through. They don't actually truly understand men's perspectives or empathize with them. They just make these videos because they know it has a higher chance of going viral, because, you know, a lot of men agree with this stuff and everyone just loses their mind when a woman shares the same opinion.
Because we're seeing a lot more of the gaps in age dating each other. So I think this is going to be an interesting topic. Here's my take. Before we get started though, remember to like the video and subscribe, guys, if you haven't yet, to catch my videos at least every Friday, sometimes Tuesdays as well.
Yo guys, just a quick heads up, I am recruiting more content creators, so if you are interested in helping me here on YouTube cover some of this cringe, you want to help men out, being a content creator is something that you might be interested in, feel free to apply with the link in the video description. I don't know how long I will leave it up, but that link will be down there in the video description, so make sure you check it out.
Number 1, we have to talk about it, guys. A big reason why a lot of young men are single are because of dating apps. Specifically, the impact that dating apps have on men versus women and their mindset when it comes to dating. The reality is that women think of themselves way more highly than they actually are.
Yeah, so this is pretty accurate. What ends up happening, this is something that we cover on videos all the time, guys, is, you know, women will jump on these dating applications, okay? They might get, and I kid you not when I say this, this is not a joke, right? They might get 1,000+ people who like them, right? 1,000+ men who are interested, you know, a whole bunch of men who are willing to meet up, you know, hundreds of dudes who are willing to take them out on a date, buy them dinner, whatever the case may be. And so what happens is women think they're just, you know, the most valuable thing ever. Well, I must be so awesome. Look at all of these matches I have. Look at all this attention I receive. Look how many men, you know, want to take me out. But what women oftentimes fail to realize is that, number 1, there's a very big difference between getting attention from men and getting commitment out of them. But number 2 as well, women seem to think like, okay, I get this much attention from men, so I deserve the top quality of man, right? I must be a 10 out of 10 woman. I must be so damn special. When the reality is so many of them are incredibly entitled. They're awful to be around, and a lot of these guys only want to have intimacy and nothing else with them.
Think of themselves way more highly than they actually are because of what is happening on dating apps. Before I say much more, I want to show you guys a video of a woman that is having like this aha moment on the impact that dating apps are having on both men and women.
Social media and online dating, how particularly horrible it is for all of us as we
Let me just stop you right there, guys. Whenever I see women complain about the dating situation, I just, my brain just shuts off, guys. This is so stupid. Women complaining about the dating situation is like a millionaire complaining about the price of a cup of coffee. That's literally what it reminds me of, guys. Like, whenever women sit here and go, you know, yeah, the dating situation absolutely sucks. No, it sucks for the average man, nobody else. Right? I'm sorry that you can't go out there and get a guy to commit to you who's, to be honest, out of your league. I'm sorry you can't do that. But at the end of the day, I'm actually not sorry. You know what I'm saying, guys? Like, oh, dating is so hard for men and women. No, it's hard for average men. Everybody else is having a ball, right? And when I say having a ball, you know, lots of women will still cry and complain and so on, because women's struggle, guys, comes in the fact that they're shopping out of their price range. That's women's problem, is they think that, oh, well, I can get commitment out of this guy. No, you can't. Sorry. You know, and women just, they really overvalue themselves. Here's who has options on dating applications: women and a small percentage of men. Those are the people with all of the options. Now, I'm sorry that you cannot find a man to love out of your thousands and thousands of options, but that's not my problem. And also, the quality of that problem is very, very low. So I'm so sick of hearing this stuff, guys, of like men and women have it difficult on dating apps. It's like, no, the average man is the one who gets screwed over. Everybody else is just being ridiculous. I'm sorry.
online dating, how particularly horrible it is for all of us, as we all know and experience. But in fact, it is particularly bad for men. If you have 50 men on Tinder and 50 women on Tinder, 46 of the women will give all of their attention to 4 men.
What is with these nails every time, guys? Like, I don't know. You see, again, when women make these videos, I don't think they actually care. You know, I don't think they actually understand how this impacts men and so on. And just by the way, guys, the relevance of dating apps, okay, this is where everybody is meeting each other these days. You know, I keep hearing this advice like, oh yeah, just go out to meet women. People these days, guys, are so incredibly closed off. When women go to the bar or the club, I'm not suggesting these are good places, by the way, but just as an example, okay? When women are going out to these places, they already know the men that they're interested in, right? That the dude who she's going to end up with at the end of the night is already in her Instagram DMs. She's just out there looking for him and pretending like they're going to run into each other, or they've got, you know, they'll meet up later in the night or whatever the case may be. Like, you're essentially just intercepting women on the way for them to go and hook up with Chad. You know, and if you're not some dude who's really quite highly attractive to women, guys, trying to approach women on the street, right? Trying to convince women to like you because you've got game. I mean, good luck to you, my friend. Have fun. You know what I'm saying? Have fun out there. Report back to me on how enjoyable of an experience that was for you. Because the average woman, it's like, it'll just go completely nowhere, man. They're already sold to these 4 dudes on Tinder. Sorry. You know? And let's not pretend like 90+% of these women have or are using dating applications. Or at the very least, they're using Instagram, which essentially just functions as a dating application.
On Tinder, a man of average attractiveness has to swipe 200 times to get 1 swipe back for coffee. And if the coffee date happens, 4 out of 5 of those said coffees will ghost him. For the first time in 275 years, a man or woman at the age of 30 is not doing as well as their parents were at 30. This is particularly for young men. Women overall, though, are progressing much faster than they have previously in society.
So the translation here is, guys, is that women are essentially going to demand more, quote unquote, economically attractive men. So if women are out here making a bit more money, then what's going to happen is women don't want to date dudes who make less money than them, at least on a long-term basis. She might hook up with some Chad because he's highly attractive. Doesn't really matter if he's homeless. Doesn't matter if he has $3.50 in his bank account. That's totally fine. But you know, the long term, the relationships, guys, the good men that these women are looking for, you now have to bring more bread to the table to even be considered. Why? Because she knows her worth and because she earns X amount of money. Which is, it's so hilarious, guys, because let's just say, you know, let's just say you have a woman who's making like $120,000 a year. She's essentially completely screwed because now she's competing with women to try and get that dude who's making like 150K plus. So, you know, good luck to you there.
Men are falling short of that. And if your instinct reaction is to say, well, they had the head start and the system was built by them, that is true, except when I begin to think about my brothers or my future sons. And the reality, the current situation is men are not doing well. And who wants economically and emotionally viable men the most? Women.
When you hear those numbers, I think that it makes you actually really understand the impact on the mentality of men and women when it comes to dating apps.
I mean, here's the thing, guys. Men don't even need to hear the stats at this point. Like, we really don't. You could come out here and tell me the most awful statistic about the dating application selection process, you know, about how many swipes it takes men to get a single date or a girlfriend or something like this. And I already know, every man already intrinsically understands that the odds are completely stacked against you. You know, don't get me confused here, guys. There are, like, you know, dating applications that have published their statistics. So they are out there if you guys want to go and have a look. But I don't need to see these dating statistics to know that they're completely screwed up. Again, I'm not pulling this out of my backside. These statistics, you know, they are grim. You're welcome to go and give them a Google and look them up for yourself. I think like Tinder and Bumble have released their swiping statistics and the distributions and things like that by men and women. And of course, women are only swiping on a very, very small percentage of men. They're only selecting a very small percentage of men. And of course, the dudes are screwed over. Me personally, I don't need to see the charts to know this. I know a lot of dudes don't need to see the charts to know this. I think this is a pretty common understanding, guys. And so what ends up happening is men have to bring so much more to the table for something which, quite honestly, guys, is a lot less valuable than, for example, their grandmothers were. You know what I'm saying? It's like you have to bring all this crap to the table for a woman who's been with like 34 dudes and who won't make you a sandwich. Number one, because she considers it offensive. Number two, because she doesn't have the culinary skills and she can't even boil water. You know, not that water is necessary in sandwiches, but you see my point. Let's keep going. Because
the fact is that a lot of women that are like a 5, 6, 7, they truly think that they are a 10 because of social media and because of her experience on dating apps. It convinces her that she is an absolute dime. So what ends up happening is that she won't even look at men that are in her league that are 5s and 6s because she's become so delusional in her own superficial value that those men are invisible.
Yeah, I mean, not only is the average man invisible, but women oftentimes, guys, take downright offense to quote-unquote average men shooting their shot. You know, I see women all the time trying to convince men that we need to put in effort, that we need to shoot our shot, that we need to make things happen, and all you need to do is be more confident, bro. You know, like that's the kind of thing that men are typically told here. But let's not kid ourselves here, guys. Like, women don't want men approaching them if they're not attracted to them, right? If you're not one of these dudes who's highly attractive, typically they don't want you to approach, you know, and if you are approaching, you've got to demonstrate like some sort of, you know, you've got to be charismatic, as non-threatening as possible, like all of this crap, which it's just a complete waste of time, to be honest with you guys. Like, again, the guy who's highly attractive, he can walk up to a woman, say something that is objectively creepy, and it'll be totally fine, right? But if you're a dude who's not highly attractive, it's like you can say something that's well-meaning and polite, and it will just be interpreted as creepy depending on the woman. You know, like, why would men go out here and try and make things happen and approach women and do all of this crap? And it's like, not only is the risk really high and also really just unpleasant, like who wants to go out there and get rejected by a bunch of entitled women? No, thank you. But oftentimes it's just not worth it, guys. Like, again, the quality of modern day women is significantly less. It really is. It has lowered so much, guys. I don't want to date a woman who has like 10 dudes in her Instagram DMs. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not interested in this. You know, people get super offended, guys, but like, you know, it is what it is. I think a lot of dudes are the same way. Like, why would you want to date a modern day woman? Like, women have a very hard time selling this, by the way, oftentimes.
She doesn't see them, but the guys that are 8s and above that she thinks are in her league, they do end up giving her attention because she's kind of an easy target to them. They just want her for her easy access to her body, potentially, and not to actually date.
Yeah, I mean, this woman said it absolutely correctly here, guys. Like, the dudes who are at the top, these women are easy pickings, man. I don't like to use language like that because I personally think that women should have more respect for themselves. That, you know, oh, I don't like women, apparently, right? I think that women should have more respect for themselves than to go out here and do this crap. But at the end of the day, I don't make the rules, and these women are incredibly easy to the men who are highly attractive. You know, I can't tell these women what to do, and I'm not even interested in telling them what to do, to be honest. Like, I'm not their father. I'm not here to pass moral judgment on them, okay? Like, I'm not their dad. I can't direct these women's life path. But let's not pretend like this isn't happening. This is a decision that women actively make to go out here and chase these sorts of men, and they make it very easy for the men who are highly attractive, guys. They make it very damn easy. Women will do the DMing first. They will make the conversation intimate. They will try and meet up with you. They will follow you on social media, and so on and so forth. Now, a lot of those women won't necessarily have the same confidence in real life, but I mean, at the end of the day, social media is just easy for women. Like, women don't even have to risk a whole lot, but they will certainly do a lot online in order to make crap happen. Not to say that they won't do it in real life as well, guys, but like, the women just will absolutely approach you online if they're attracted to you.
So access to her body, potentially, and not to actually date. So she ends up wasting away her 20s because she has these crazy expectations under the belief that she's not going to settle. She deserves what she deserves because she thinks she's a 10. And in reality, she will reach her 30s and her biological clock is sounding the alarm so that she'll actually start seeing the men that are at her level. But the problem now is that those men are actually out of her league.
I mean, not only that, guys, but here's the thing. By the time these women actually start seeing these other men as viable relationship candidates, they still don't respect them, right? Because they're attached to previous guys that they think that they could have done better. You know, like, if you take a woman who's been with a whole bunch of men who are highly attractive, okay, and then what she has to do is she actually, you know, it's crunch time. She has to get kids. She has to get married, okay? And she goes out here and chooses the man who will actually marry her and give kids to her. Oftentimes, these women are not going to be happy with the quality of this man, at least in terms of physical attractiveness, right? This is why so many times, guys, dudes get essentially trapped and baited into these marriages, is because they think that they're finally found the one, right? That woman's there to love him. But in reality, like, the resentment just grows over time, the intimacy lessens, and so on and so forth. And the reality is that that man was not her first choice. Her first choice was some dude that she met on a dating application when she was like 22, turning 23. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's complete. It's GG, guys. Wrap it up. Close the curtains. It's over. I don't mean to be pessimistic about it, guys, but that's truly the way it is. This is the cycle that modern women follow. Screw around in your 20s, get married to some dude you don't respect in your 30s, divorce his ass, take the kids, and take the assets if you can. And also, the government allows this, by the way. Women are actively encouraged to do this.
Problem now is that those men are actually out of her league. They are above her league, because a lot of those men have actually spent time improving their economic status because they focused on work and they focused on their success. And so now she's kind of screwed. Like, she has to really lower her expectations to end up in a relationship, or she doesn't do that and she becomes this like chronic first date dater.
One of the funniest things about this, by the way, guys, like, this is true here as well. is you'll have dudes, right, who might not necessarily, like, let's just say you're a man, you're 21 years of age, okay? You might not be highly attractive to women, but give it a decade, you know, you work, you hit the gym, okay, you make a lot of money, you're now making like, I don't know, 150K a year or something. You've put the partying to the side, you've become successful, you've done what you were supposed to do, you've worked super hard, and now you've gotten there, okay? So now you're 31 years of age. It's funny how all of those women who weren't interested in you, you'll start to get those like, hey stranger texts, and they'll start to message you, and you know, they'll start to be interested now, but they never cared about you to begin with. You know what I'm saying? I've seen dudes over the course of my life get very, very successful, and then all of a sudden, guys, you know, the ex-girlfriends start crawling back. The women that they were previously interested in started reaching out just all of a sudden. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, these men have been completely ignored, ghosted, treated like trash, friend zoned. I mean, again, I don't think men should put themselves in the friend zone. I think that is a choice, by the way, that I think it's a very stupid decision, but you get my point. These dudes have been completely overlooked for like a decade, and now these women are running out of time, and now these guys have resources, or they've become a lot more attractive, and now she wants to turn around and have a relationship. And the dudes just kind of shut the door and say, no, thank you, stay out there in the cold, I'm good.
Whereas what I've seen is that men go in two different directions once they hit their 30s and 40s. One group has focused on increasing their value, and they decide that they want a wife, right? They find a younger woman that values stability and success of an older man. The other group of men, unrelated to if he's increased his value or not, these men have become so turned off from women's unrealistic expectations that they become okay with being single. Like, they actually find peace. They stop efforts into dating, and instead they turn their efforts towards themselves, like whatever hobby that brings them joy, whatever work brings them purpose, they focus on that. Moving on to the second biggest reason why men are single. The fact is that a lot of men are focusing on increasing their value through work and social network rather than having a relationship that makes them worse. It used to be a lot of men's focus to just end up in a committed relationship that fit his needs, you know, and then he would have a young family and he would be supported to focus on his work. But now, either in his own experience or in the experience of his peers that he's witnessing, he sees that women are not staying committed. They are leaving their husbands at the first sign of trouble, or even when there's literally like nothing wrong with him, he's not doing anything wrong, she's leaving him because she's not happy.
Yeah, okay, so I think I understand this one. Essentially, they see other men getting screwed over, or they themselves have been screwed over so many times. Yeah, again, this is pretty accurate, I would say. You know, a lot of guys go out here, okay, and they try and date, they try and get the wife, get the girlfriend, and so on. And I mean, you have dudes out here who just get cheated on over and over again, right? And I'll say this, okay, there is something to be said for like selecting the right person, okay? But the fact of the matter is, guys, is women's loyalty these days has significantly decreased. You know what I'm saying? Like, the odds of a woman being loyal to you are significantly lower these days. Oftentimes, guys, again, you take a look at these women, okay? You take your average woman and a woman who's in a relationship, okay? You say you pick a woman off the street. Let's just say you go to some city, okay? Wherever it is that you're from, you go to that city. You take a couple that is 27 years of age, okay? Man and a woman, 27 years of age. If you go through that woman's Instagram, I guarantee you there's a very high likelihood, not always, but a high likelihood that there is going to be DMs in there that are going to make her boyfriend or husband uncomfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's not kid ourselves here, guys, okay? Women have these public Instagram accounts, and like the loyalty levels with with the invention of social media have gone right down the toilet, guys. Okay, so it's one thing to say, oh, men should just select better women. It's like, I mean, okay, check the average woman's DM inbox and we'll talk about selecting the right woman, because I think a lot of guys, no matter which choice you make, to a very large extent, you're still going to get screwed over. And women will say the same thing. They'll be like, yeah, but it's the same thing for women, right? Should But the thing is, guys, the reason why I hold dudes to less of a standard is because most men can't even cheat in the first place, right? So when women come on here and they say, I've been selecting bad men, it's like, no, you've just been selecting the attractive dudes with all of the options. You know what I mean? Because the reality of it is this: if women were to choose dudes on their level, a lot of the average men can't even, they've never even had, you know, like enough women even following them in the first place. They don't have DMs with women because women aren't interested in DMing them, because he doesn't meet her standards. You see what I'm saying here, guys? The difference is very, very big between men and women and their sort of options, because women could go out here and choose the nice guy that would commit to them, give them a family and so on, but he's below average, right? The average dude could go out here and choose the average woman and her DMs will be full of dudes. You know, the likelihood, the odds, not exactly in the favor of the woman being loyal to you, in my opinion.
So as a result, a lot of men are just finding other things that give them purpose and joy outside a romantic relationship. The third reason why there are a lot more young single men is that men's standards have increased. I said it, guys. You can agree or disagree in the comments, but it has been revealed that men oftentimes have to endure within a romantic relationship in order to maintain the promises that he's made within that relationship. And this has been revealed by women that are in marriages. And I am going to show you an example of one of those women. Before I say anything more, let's watch the video.
And Brittany, it seems like she's a little bit overwhelmed, and yeah, he's noticing.
I'll do risotto, please. That's you!
This is a huge problem.
Wait. So let's go back here. This dude seriously came home from work with a sore throat and then came downstairs in this house coat he hasn't worn in 2 years. Wait, so a dude... What does this woman have an issue with? The fact that he's trying to relax after work and he has a sore throat? Like, guys, I'm sorry, but I don't want to deal with this nonsense. You know what I mean? I think so many dudes are the same way. You mean to tell me that I have to go out there, work hard, come home, and then my woman gets mad at me because I have a sore throat and because I put on a coat and try and relax? Oh, hell no, guys. Oh, hell no. And they wonder why dudes won't marry them, or why men prefer to play video games. Oh, video games are such a red flag. It's like, yeah, the dudes are trying to escape you. Wouldn't really call that a red flag, but honestly, crazy.
Yeah, he's noticing.
So the dude comes downstairs and he's trying to relax after work.
That's you!
This is a huge problem. Okay, that man has a need, he is sick, and his woman is bothered by it. Like, that woman, that wife, I'm sorry, she does not like her husband.
Yeah, of course not. And I find it weird as well. They always find the need to just record this crap and put it online, by the way. Like, I have never once thought to myself, hey guys, let me just go out here and record like something personal about my life and just post it to the internet. You know, let me just record a family member of mine and try and make fun of them on the internet or something like this. It's like, no, these people are weird as hell, guys. These women who post videos of their husbands, especially in a negative light, I'm just like, what on earth are you people doing?
And no man wants to really end up in that situation. The sad part is that that man probably knows that he's in that situation. But that man is in a hard spot because it is not as easy as just telling him to leave. Like, it's just not that simple. He knows it. But content like this, when men see content like this, where it is clear as day that that woman does not like her husband, and he probably does so much for her, because of this, men that are single, that are out there looking potentially to date someone, they are picking out and they are seeing the red flags so that they don't end up in a relationship like this. This is absolutely like one of those situations that so many men would say they are at peace with being single, they're good, they're not missing out on anything.
Yeah, so here's the thing, guys. That's actually kind of the hope that I have with a lot of the content I produce. I hope that dudes see my videos and they just sit there and they go, okay, you know what? I do not want a woman like this, right? And like, I'm not here to convince every dude to not date. Men can make their own decisions, okay? But I certainly think that dudes should be out here really doing their absolute best to protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, go back to this clip for a second here. I think that men are better off being alone than being with a woman like this. But guys, we're going to be leaving today's episode there. As always, don't forget to leave your thoughts and your comments. Make sure you guys take care of yourselves, and I'll be seeing you all in the next episode. Peace.